life changed when my 9-year-old son passed away 5 years ago. Tremendously changed.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the situation that caused this change?
Yes. So on a Tuesday morning, actually started the Monday, my son had strep throat, so he stayed home from school Monday. He looked much better Tuesday. However, we all got ready in our bathroom together, and he came and he said, "Mom, I feel like it's still hurting." I'm like, "All right, baby, you can stay home again with Dad." And so they actually had a boys' day where they got haircuts and did lunch and spent some good time together. My husband that afternoon was bringing him to jiu-jitsu practice. And while driving there, a guy in a F-250 truck, not paying attention, veered into their lane. He was avoiding hitting the vehicle that was in front of him. And for some unknown reason, instead of going to the right, he went into the lane on his left, and he went right into the vehicle that they were riding in. And my baby boy did not survive. My husband had to be airlifted to the hospital. They had to use the jaws of life to actually get him out of the vehicle. It took them over an hour to get my husband out of the vehicle because it was so mangled. My husband was in the hospital for a week, but it was by far the worst thing that I have ever experienced in my life. I am an only child who God has always given me a spirit of, if I dream it, if I have a desire for it, it's going to happen. And I have lived my life like that. Every single desire He has given me, it has come to pass. That right there, it just pulled the rug right from under me, and I literally didn't want to be here. I did not want to be here. It was difficult even imagining moving forward to the next day because I did not want to be here. In my mind, I kept thinking that my baby boy is in paradise, because without a doubt, I knew he was in paradise just because of the kind of child he was. But parents are supposed to go before their children. And he's 9. So how can he be anywhere without me? And I literally, as my husband was healing, I could not even not tell him, I don't want to be here. Y'all are fine. I have 2 other kids. They were old enough that they could take care of themselves, but I wanted God to take me to heaven too, because I just felt like my baby shouldn't be there alone. The first thing was realizing that grief is a powerful monster. I am a physician. I have walked people through the loss of a loved one. I have prayed for them. I have prayed with them. I have never understood grief. I have had other people to pass away in my family. My mother actually passed away the year my son was born. But I have been a Christian since I was 10. I prayed the prayer of salvation at 12 years old, and I have literally been running for Jesus all my life. But I never understood grief. I never understood how someone could tell me, well, you know, mama's been gone for 20 years now or 30 years. And though I walked with them and though I prayed with them in my mind, I would say, golly, that is a long time. You have to let this go at some point. I never understood grief. But to have grief literally rob me of my hope, I had a good lesson that I finally learned. How did I overcome that? I tell you, I believe that had I not had a relationship with God already, I don't know how I would have come out of this. But I know that every single day, I did not want to get out of the bed. I have a thriving private practice. I could not see myself going back to see patients. I wanted to give up my house because it was so quiet. I used to say I didn't know the quiet could be so loud. But as an only child, I used to clown all the time saying, can't wait for y'all to get up out of my house so I can have my space back. I just did not want to be in my own space like that at all. So every single day, I'm praying, God, you're going to have to get me out of this bed. God, you're going to have to get me to work. I can't even tell you how many days I got to work and I was just parked there thinking, Lord, how did I get here? Because I could not remember driving to work. But every single day, I would pray. I don't know why this keeps happening to me, God. I don't know what this is about. I don't know why my child. Because my child was the special child. And I know everybody thinks their child is special, but I'm telling you, this little boy was divine, literally. He was the personification of love and forgiveness and hope. He made everybody around him better. And in my mind, this little boy was going to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, the black and the white. Every different type of person that we have here, I could see him bridging the gap and getting rid of all the racism and, socioeconomic differences that people have. So how could he be gone? Every day. Every day I'm praying. And then finally, one day I finally could not hold on anymore. I guess I had like this much strength left because I didn't feel strong at all, but I must have been holding on to this little bitty amount until one night I was just like, you know what? I was stripped of everything. I was stripped of every.
Take your time.
I was stripped of every bit of strength that I had. And finally, thank you. I was just laying there on the floor, having a full-on adult temper tantrum is what I call it now. And I finally said, God, I know I'm not supposed to question you, but I do not understand. I love you. I am faithful to you. I tithe, I give offering, I help people. I could not understand. I couldn't understand it. I believe that God orchestrates things in a way that He knows. He knows us. The Bible tells us that he knows the number of hair we have on our head. And so he appealed to me in the way that I needed, and the only way probably that I would really and fully embrace it. My husband he was so beat up. He was so beat up that he needed help with everything. I had to help him get in the bed, help him get out of the bed into the wheelchair. Then I would roll him into our bathroom. I would bathe him, help him to get dressed. Every single thing that he needed to do for himself, I had to help him do. I think God knew that my love would overpower the grief that I was feeling. I didn't want it for me. For me, I felt too shattered. For me, I felt like I could not go on. But for the people I loved, my husband needed me, so I was going to be there. And it was the catalyst that got me up every day. My daughter needed me, so I was going to get up. My daughter is probably one of the most brilliant people I know. She was on the road to go to West Point in New York. And she said, I think I'm just going to stay here and go to the local college. I was like, oh, no, ma'am, you're not. Oh, no, ma'am. I think I want to stay here with you, Mom. No, ma'am. Nope. I'm good. I wasn't good, but I am good enough. You gonna go. And she didn't go to West Point. She settled on Tulane in New Orleans. But I also think God has a way, because that's my alma mater. I wanted her to go there anyway. My son was in the Army. My wonderful, perfect little firstborn. I tell people all the time, he went to college for 1 year and lost his mind, came back talking about he was a man and he could make his decisions. And when I tell you, I was praying for that boy every day, but God orchestrated it that he ended up in the Army. He was in Korea when all of the tragedy happened. And he wanted to quit. He wanted, I'm just gonna come home. And again, oh no, sir, we have come too far. Because I wasn't willing to forfeit my children's life and their future for the pain that I was going through. I just could not do that. So God orchestrated things in such a way that he knew I was going to have to get up. And then I had a great support system. My family was there for me. And my tribe, let me tell you, if you don't have a tribe, you better get a tribe, because my tribe showed up. I mean, one of my girlfriends who is she's actually a physician here, she actually cleared her schedule for the weekend. She stayed with me in the hospital every day so that I could sleep at night while she watched my husband. And I would be up during the day when I could watch him. But she came every day. I have another friend who came to our house 365 days of that whole year. Every day she just wanted to lay her eyes. But having a tribe and having a good support system is so important, because when you are weak, they can help you and bring you forward instead of letting you stay there. The Bible tells us that two is better than one. You better have a tribe. As far as grief is concerned, I have, of course, a completely different view of grief. So in order for people to be able to change, people who are grieved, you first have to realize that you are grieved. The biggest trick to me of the devil is the fact that there are so many people who are grieving who don't know that they're grieving. And that's because most people relate grief to the loss of a loved one. When grief can happen from any loss, we can experience over 40 different losses in our lifetime. And it can be your parents weren't there for you, your parents abused you, betrayal from a friend, loss of a job, loss of your home or vehicle, divorce, sometimes even marriage. But any type of loss that you experience, any change in the normalcy of your life can lead to grief. If you can get to the point where you realize that I am grieved, I'm grieved by the things that have happened to me, and then you're able to at least, you have to know it's there, because only when you know it can you acknowledge it, and then you can do something about it. Because I am a firm believer that God created every one of us for a purpose. And the thing is, pain and losses do not negate your purpose. God never promised that we weren't going to go through painful experiences, but what he did promise is that all things would work together for our good. And all things means good things and bad things. And so getting to the point where you can recognize that you're grieved and having the strength and courage to face it head on. Because we are not meant to be anchored to the things that have hurt us in the past. Those things happened in a moment. The moment doesn't stay with us. The unexpressed emotions, though they stay with us. And as long as those unexpressed emotions are here, they are going to weigh you down, and they're going to prevent you from living the full life that God created you to live. It's painful, yes, but you don't have to sit in the pain. You don't have to sit in the pain. So I learned how to do that. I learned how to, God just really put things in my path that allowed me to discover the grief, acknowledge it, recover from it, and now I'm empowered to empower others. When we were talking about that turnaround moment, I want to just tell you what happened. I was on that floor crying that night, literally saying, God, you need to take me to heaven. My baby needs me. I don't understand. Why? Why me? I have been through enough. And God, I heard him. He said, I never said not to ask why. It's another one of those myths. People say it all the time. You can't question God. But the Bible says you have not because you ask not. God was like, I never said don't ask. If you don't ask, how are you going to know? And it wasn't some bizarre thing where it was like God said, oh, I took him because, no. But what God did for me that night was when I went to sleep, I had exhausted myself to sleep. And I had a dream of me and my baby boy. We were at a wedding, which was at a junior high school gym. I don't know why, but we were at the gym. The pastor was late. My baby boy starts rolling on the floor because it's like an hour later now. We're still waiting on the pastor to come. So I said, okay, come on, baby boy, let's go home. But I took him across the street to the home that I grew up in, not the home that we lived in. Walked into that house and my mama was there. I have never dreamt about my mama since she passed away. I knew my mama was in heaven, but that was the first time she was ever in my dream. So I said, Mom, why are you here? And she said, oh, I was just dropping by, leave him with me. I got him, he'll be okay. And he hugged me. And it was such a real hug. Like I woke up and I could feel his arms around me. So the breakthrough didn't come right at that moment, because at that moment, it was me still feeling the linger of his hug and the realization that he was gone. Oh, I was really sad. So I went to work. I was so sad that day that my patients would say, oh, Doc, you need to go home. We're going to reschedule. And I sat in my office crying. I hear the door open. I look at the camera and I see his barber come in. Now, his barber is not my patient. And I know he's just coming like to check on me. And I'm thinking, okay, God, I don't have the capacity for this today. But my receptionist called. She said, Dom said he just wants to give you a hug. So I said, okay, I can deal with a hug. So I went out there and he hugged me. This was my Papa Bear hug. Exactly as Papa hugs me, it was the same hug. And then he said, he told me to come and give you a hug. Now, I thought he was talking about my husband because he had cut my husband's hair that morning. And I said, yeah, I know Philip was worried when I left this morning. He said, no, Papa told me to come give you a hug. He said, I'm telling you, he said, I got home and I heard it and I thought, boy, you tripping. Okay, let me just, he said, I kept working and then I heard again, no, Mr. Dom, please go give my mama a hug. He said, I was so freaked out, I just grabbed my keys and I just came straight over here. And it was just the hug and that God remembered me, like God heard me and he gave me the reassurance that I needed. Then I go and do my hair. And I'm telling my beautician, you know, I'm doing okay. So she said, I haven't been able to check on you because my grandfather passed away. Her grandfather was the pastor that was supposed to be at the wedding in my dream. So the night I was having the dream, her grandfather passed away. So it was all of these different things that God put together to make sure, because I always pray to God, okay, Lord, you know, I need the kindergarten version. I need 1, 2, 3, ABC. That's as kindergarten as it gets. The reassurance that I needed. And from that moment on, I have been steadily increasing my time with God because I had stopped doing that. I told you I was saved. I prayed that prayer of salvation at 12. I have spent time with God. I have spent time in the Word. I always in church. But after I had Papa, I thought I had everything I needed. I was good. I stopped dreaming. I stopped thinking that there was anything else in my life. I also stopped spending time with God. Now I am back to where it all began. I'm back to my source. Nope, for all of you out there who are like, you think he took your child? Nope, I don't believe that at all. I do believe that we suffer the consequences of our own actions and those of other people's actions sometimes. And when my pastor told me that, it was like another veil that was just torn open for me. But God did promise that all things would work together for my good. Now, I will tell you, the devil meant it for bad. The devil thought it was going to break me down. But God has turned it around for my good because the more I spend time with him, the stronger I am. It's not late. It's not too late. It doesn't matter how long you've been sitting in grief. You don't have to stay there. I am an author now. And I had never ever thought I was gonna I never had the desire to write a book. But what happened is, as I keep walking my journey, as I keep holding on to God and doing what he's telling me to do, people continue to come to me and ask, how are you so strong? And I used to tell them, I don't know what y'all see, but I don't feel strong at all. But now I realize, as the Bible says, that when we are weak, the strength of God is what shows up in us. So that is exactly what they see. And finally, I started posting stuff on Facebook, and I started, I guess, being the champion for other people who are grieved, because you see things on social media like someone is grieving the loss of their child or their mother or father, and you'll see people put in the post, you need to pray, you need to go to church more, you need to read your Bible more. And so I'm on the post like, nope, I'm sorry, that's not it at all. I love God. I read my Bible. It doesn't stop the pain, when you lose somebody that you love, when you lose the physical connection. And it's helping people to better understand that when you have a loss, especially when you lose someone you love, you don't want that physical connection broken. That hurts. But my thing now is teaching people that you don't have to stay in that place, not in grief. There is sadness, there is depression, and there is grief. With sadness, you can still move forward. You can have people come and cheer you up. Holidays may make you feel better. With depression, I can give you some medicine and you will feel better. With grief, nothing. If you stay in that grief state, it will rob you of your entire life. So the book helps people walk through that grief. And it's not just the grief of a loved one, but any loss that you've experienced. It helps you to recognize that grief is a monster, but it's a monster that you can overcome by facing it head on. And then I started being a life coach, which is truly a passion. In medicine, I love being the one that helps my patients physically, but God gave me the motto, healing the mind, body, and spirit when I opened my practice. And I've been healing the mind and the body. I hadn't been healing the spirit, but that trifecta is now a part of what I do. And I just walk people through the things they've had to just wear them down and break them down that have happened in their life. And I just help them to let go of those anchors because they are anchored to all of those losses. All we're going to do is sever. We got to sever the tie to the anchor so that you can move forward. I love this. I love seeing the transition. I love seeing that aha moment when they realize, I don't have to stay stuck in this. Nope, you sure don't. You absolutely don't. So I have been on the path to set the captives free because grief thought it had me. Well, I thought grief had me too. but God, but God, I'm so grateful that He has given me this platform now to do what I am doing because I am on a mission.
And
That's drksd.com. That's DOCTORKSD.com. Or you can send me an email to contact@drksd.com and just let me know that you want to get into one of my coaching classes, or I also do keynote speaking for those of you who need a keynote speaker and trainings, because for a lot of businesses, your business can't go any further than the state your employees are in will allow it to go. And I go in and do training and help people to, again, get beyond the things that have made them bitter, made them angry, made them lack the ability to communicate properly with their coworkers and with customers. Because if we can't have the customers come in and be extremely happy, your business will never get to the level it needs to get to. So I do trainings for businesses as well.